Hello, and welcome to the Dude's Journey Podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Phillip. And before we get started, I just wanted to remind everyone that Dudism isn't a religion, more of a philosophy, and that philosophy is the art of peace. Just as there's an art of war, there's an art of peace, and so that's what we try to practice here at the Church of the Latter-day Dude. So, just kind of getting that off my chest, across the board, so you understand where you're at, all right? So, how you been doing, all right? You got a smoke and a drink? Come and join me, because that's what we're doing here. Okay, so, girl, I've been up to some craziness. It's been crazy, okay? You ready to hear some stories? I got some stories here before we get started on this sermon, okay? And for those of you that's first time listening, yes, this is a actual church. This is an online ministry. I have tax exempt status. You are officially listening to a sermon from the Church of the Latter-day Dude. We real and legit, so y'all want to send me donations, let me know, okay? Ooh, who couldn't use a little extra money right now, right? Ugh. So, what's been happening with me, man? All right, so a couple things happened. I don't know if I talked about this. I might have, but I don't think I did, and that was... Yeah, so you ever been ghosted by someone and they talk to you like nothing happened? Like, have you gotten one of those, man? Because I'm single, I'm in the dating world, and it's fucking crazy out here. So, what that was is that a long time ago, there was this lady friend, and I pulled the trigger and asked her out, and she said, yeah, let's go to brunch, which some of my friends were like, ooh, brunch is bad, that you're automatically in the friend zone. I asked some lady friends, they were like, nah, she's inviting you to brunch. That's like, could be a potential full day date. You could spend the whole day together. So I'm like, all right. So we're trying to set it up. And then she hits me with the infamous, I really want to go out with you, but I'm just busy right now. So I'll let you know when I'm available, which means I'm never going to hear from her again. My friend told me that. I thought he was lying, but he wasn't, because, here we are. It was like 8 months later, nothing. And we've talked since then. So she just literally like, whatever, didn't give a shit. So anyway, I call this lady brunch with my friends. And I was going to this event to get some comic books signed. And it's this little comic show. And she was going to be there. And I was like, shit. Because I want to confront her. I want to go and be like, hey, we still going to brunch 8 fucking months later? Like... I was pissed. But I talked to my friends. I'm like, I want to go say something. They're like, no, you don't say shit. It's been 8 months. You had a chance to say something a long time ago. You didn't say it. You've been hanging on too long. Let it go. All right. If she were interested, she would have contacted you. She's not interested. Let it go. I said, all right, you're right. So they told me, like, look, man, what you need to do is just go to the show like you normally would. And if you see her, like try not to talk to her. But if you do, just keep it cash. I'm like, all right. That sounds like good advice. So I go to the comic show. There's only 2 artists I want autographs from. So I go to the first artist, I get his, and I'm going. Now, I know where brunch usually hangs out. So I take the long way around so I don't have to, run into her. Now, once again, this is a small comic convention, okay? It's taking place in an abandoned store in a dying mall, all right? It's not great. But the thing is, James O'Barr was there, and James O'Barr wrote and illustrated The Crow. And I love The Crow. I love the movie, the first one, and I love the comic. I got the special edition, got him to sign it, because he's like... So I lost my wife to cancer a few years ago, and James O'Barr lost the love of his life when he was a young man. So... we got to kind of talk a little bit about grief and how people don't understand it and things like that. And I'm hoping to do a whole podcast on grief, because I just got done reading a really good book about it. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get this autograph and we're good, right? Well, guess what happens? So there's a door, like an employee door behind James's table. And who comes out? It's brunch. Yay. There's this show called What We Do in the Shadows, and it's about vampires, and this one guy, Laszlo, whenever he turns into a bat, he yells, bat, and he turns into a bat and flies away, and I'm like, I so wanted to turn into a bat. Just like, Because it's like I didn't want to see her, and I was just like, bat! You know, I wanted to just fly away, and I couldn't. So she sees me because I'm right there by the door in line. So, oh, hey, Phil, da-da-da. She comes over and hugs me and chats and laughs and da-da-da-da-da. I'm keeping it cool and casual, right? She's like, hey, I got a table over here. Come visit when you're done. And I'm like, fuck. I said I'd be cordial. I'm going to be cordial. So I go over, trying to be cordial. And we have a few laughs, and I buy one of her things, and just kind of chatting with her, you know. And I try to push, like, you know, because she's like, oh, how are you? I'm like, you know, terrible as always, you know, just, you know, can't get a date. Hint, hint. And she goes, oh, yeah, I know what you mean. She's like, I'm moving to Los Angeles, so I'm not trying to date anyone in Dallas right now because I'm going to be moving. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, well, that makes sense. And she said she was going to move last year around the time that I asked her out. But the Los Angeles fires happened, and so she couldn't move, so everything got delayed, so that's why she's still here. So I'm like, okay, makes sense. So I chatted her with a little bit, didn't say anything, was like, gotta fudge it, let's go. And I left it at that, man, you know. She was like, you're gonna come tomorrow for the... I'm like, nope, not coming back, bye. And took off. Now, here's the other thing. So I'm like, all right, there it is, end of story, right? But here's the thing. I'm part of a cosplay group. We're the North Texas Ghostbusters. We dress up like Ghostbusters to raise money for charity. We go to different Comic-Cons and events. And the two big conventions are coming up here in the Dallas area. Texas Frightmare, which is a horror convention, and then a Fan Expo, which is basically the Dallas Comic-Con. These are the two big events. I'm going to both of them because I'm going as a Ghostbuster to raise money for charity. But I know brunch is going to be there. And I'm hoping she just doesn't notice me. We're going to see how that goes. Now, I do have a lady friend who's going to Frightmare. And Friday night, there's this 80s themed prom that's happening, you know. And so she asked, she said she was going to go. And I was like, well, do you have a big date or something lined up? She goes, no, I'm hoping to find one. I said, well, you know, hey, I volunteer for tribute if you can't find anybody. So she was like, cool. So I'm going to be her pretend boyfriend, which I've done before many times, especially when you work in like food service. So many creepy guys hit on the ladies. And so I've been so many boyfriends for so many women just to keep the creeps away. So I don't know what's going to go on, but I'm getting myself a hotel room. I'm going to try and enjoy myself a little bit and take it easy, man. Trying to take it easy. Because here's the thing. My kids get out of school the day before this convention. So, fuck, right? So I got to start planning shit for the kids and to do and da-da-da-da-da. All that kind of fun stuff. Oh. But aside from that, I'm trying to take my word of the dude and put it on the road. I'm doing stand-up comedy. I talked about this in some of the last episodes. So I joined this workshop and started learning, you know, just how to organize my jokes. And we had a showcase, right? Now, we've only got like 6-7 students in the class. So the producer, Dean, he gets like another 6 guys. Now, some of the guys he got... not great. Like they did not do well, unfortunately. Because once again, this is a family crowd. It's like they're here to laugh for their friend, not so much everybody else. So I got up there, and I gotta tell you, man, I can't even remember my fucking set, man. It was such a blur. It's like I got flashes, man, but I don't fucking remember. I was so fucking nervous. I went up there, did my shit I practiced 100 times. And got the fuck off stage, basically. So now a friend of mine came, and she was in the front row, and she recorded it. And then I paid $60 to a videographer for him to record my 5 minutes. So I saw it. We went and did it. I saw it. And but here was the hard part. Okay, at first I couldn't watch it. I can't see myself on film. It's fucking terrible. I hate it. I'm one of those people, man. I hate hearing my voice and stuff. Now, if I'm doing a skit, like me and my buddy, we shot a little funny short. We put it on YouTube and stuff. That I don't mind because as an actor, that's, as a former actor, that's what I'm used to. There's a setup, and there's, a stage or a set, and there's costumes and lines, and it's organized, and everyone has a part and a place. All that shit. Stand-up comedy isn't like that, man. It's you're on your own, you've got lines and everything, you got your whole setup, but it's like, if the shit isn't funny, fuck, like, it's like, shit. So, but so I literally was pacing. I didn't want to watch it. I felt like it was shit, and I'm terrible, and I shouldn't even started this. And then I wrote to the, because the thing about being on the stage, you can't always hear the laughs, especially when it's a small crowd. It's kind of hard to hear because there's other noise like the kitchen in the background or servers bringing food or something. So it's kind of hard to hear when you're on stage. So I didn't feel like I was getting any laughs. And then I asked Dean, I was like, look, man, tell me the fucking truth here. Do you think I have a shot at this? He said, abso-fucking-lutely, man. You've got presence, and you got a point of view, and you're interesting, and the whole dudism thing, and you're a drug dealer or whatever, like part-time drug dealer. I just want to make that clear. It's a part-time drug dealer. But he's like, yeah, you've got a shot. He's like, there are 9 comedy clubs in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that are looking for local talent to be regulars constantly. You could be one of those. He said there's a bunch of open mics. Hit the open mics, start making friends, start building the network, and eventually someone's going to see you, and they're going to want you to do like 10 minutes in front of a weekend act, and then continue from there. So I was like, all right, man, all right, I'm getting the kick in the pants. I'm trying to do it. So finally tonight, before I started recording, I got my fucking so the 5-minute video that I got from my friend. She's like, I don't know how to send this to you because it's a big file. So she just posted it on my wall and uploaded it. And then I went and I used OBS Studio to record my screen and audio so I could record it and have a copy, because Facebook doesn't let you download the videos for some fucking reason, because they're pieces of shit. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. So, and then I got the 5 minutes from the videographer. But, then I started watching, I started trying to download the video. And it took like 4 hours because it was like 3 gigs. And my Wi-Fi is slow because there's a storm, so, But yeah, so I finally sat down and went through it, and I was like, okay, this wasn't as bad as I thought. Because some of the comedians that came, I'm telling you, they barely got chuckles. There was at least 4 to 5 comedians that just, they kind of died on stage a little bit. Which happens. I mean, even pick any comedian, the most popular comedians you can think of, all of them still bomb to this day at some point. Sometimes when it just doesn't flow. It just doesn't happen. So I felt like that was my case. But going back and watching it, I got laughs, man. I got about 3 laughs a minute. I was trying to get like, 5 laughs a minute or 6 laughs a minute, but I didn't. I averaged around 3. And so some of my bits were not landing as well as my other ones, so I either got to rewrite them or toss them or something. Got some of my bigger laughs near the end, which is what you want, so, Oh, man, I hate fucking watching myself, remember? I mean, I literally had this video for almost a fucking week before I finally fucking opened it. I was like, oh, God. I don't want to do this. Like I said, I'm very self-critical, so it's tough. But I went in there, I said, okay, well, let's take some of these, because I got to chop it up. I got to chop it up, put it online, keep the things rolling out there. And the big problem with doing stand-up comedy is that when you're watching stand-up comedians, you're watching them after they've been doing comedy for 10 or 20 years. You know what I mean? Like when you watch a Netflix special or something like that, or a half-hour special or something, I mean, those guys, they've been doing comedy forever, and they've got a good crowd that's drunk and want to laugh and da-da-da-da-da. So it's different. It's just different when you've got a crowd of people that came to see you, that wanted to come see you and love your stuff and will laugh, as opposed to, a group of strangers that came to see somebody else and not you. It's a lot different. And, of course, I'm sure that's how every opener feels. But it's just just how it is. I'm learning a lot as I'm going through this and trying to figure it all out, man. It's not easy. But I'm going to keep trying. And then, of course, I wasn't telling my in-laws who live with me, I wasn't telling them about it because I didn't want to make it into a thing. I didn't want to kind of get anybody's hopes up because I've tried to be a filmmaker, and when my comic book, Stillborn, the First Zombie, when that comic book got picked up by David Gersh, he called me personally and said he wanted to turn Stillborn into a TV show, and I got real excited and told all my friends and family, and then nothing happened. So I didn't want to do that again. Now, I've been gone on Saturdays doing this workshop, but now I'm like, if I want to do stand-up, I got to hit the open mics. And the open mics are Tuesday, Wednesday, and like Sundays. Not great times there, so there's like 2 on Sunday night. One that's like at 4 or 5, and another one's at 9:30. So I have a chance to hit up 2 open mics, you know, and hopefully record it and keep it going. But like I said earlier, I did this little short sketch with me and my buddy. We put it on YouTube, and we got like 2,000, almost 3,000 views in like less than 16 hours. So we were like, well, holy shit, we've been talking about wanting to do a YouTube show, and now we're like, yeah, we have to. So we're going to keep making shorts, and I'm going to try, because I know a bunch of guys. I know guys that do film, videographers, directors, special effects people, and I'm talking professionals. Like, they have legit credits, and they're wanting to do something, you know. All right, let's get it done. Now is the time, my friend. So we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna see how it goes. Because like me, it's like, I'm not trying to be like Mr. Famous, but if I can get just regular work, because I've got over 100 pages worth of jokes written, all I need is just a place where I can go to the open mics, work them out, refine them, and then go hopefully get booked to do a show as an opener or something, make a few bucks. Because that's the other thing, man. It's like a lot of comics you see, man, they're working for free. And actors will tell you Hollywood is nickel and diming them. I mean, fucking, there are actors that are like, they're trying to pay me less for the 3rd film than they did for the first 2 films. And the films have consecutively increased and made more and more profit every time. So what the fuck? And, it's like that across the board, stand-up comedy is no different. And the other thing about stand-up comedy that they tell you is, like, you're not in the comedy or entertainment business. You're in the liquor business. Every comedy club has a bar. Your job is to make people feel good and sell fucking drinks. And a lot of your first shows are going to be bringer shows. So, like, you've got to bring a minimum of 5 to 10 people, and they've got to pay $20 a piece, and they've got to buy drinks. It's like, dude, we're new people. We're starters. We're not going to be able to get folks to do that. And have you not checked the economic climate, motherfucker? Ugh. But I get it. They're like, we got to make money. You want to do a show? You want to keep the doors open? We got to fucking make money. And where we make the most money is alcohol sales. We're charging you $9 for a shot of liquor out of a bottle filled with, 2-3 dozen shots that you can get for $20-$30 at the fucking liquor store. And I should know, I used to be a bartender. I used to fucking do it. I saw the fucking numbers, and I understood. This is how we make our money. Sell those fucking drinks. So since, dudism is totally cool with drugs and alcohol, I brought a drink on stage. I was telling people to buy drinks at the bar. Yeah. Have you a drink? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wine is fine, but liquor is quicker. Oh. And to top it all off, I've been fighting a cold because my kid came home with a strain of the fucking zombie virus like they do. I get it. I get why you have to send your kid to school even though he's sick, but fuck do I hate you. I fucking hate you. Because I'm a parent. If my kid's sick, I'm keeping him home. I work from home. Let him stay home. But I get a lot of parents are like, no, I work a 9 to 5. I need my kid in school so someone can watch him, and then I can pick him up later. I get that. But it's just like, this is why I think businesses should supply some kind of daycare or something for parents, for their employees. But could also wish for a 12-inch dick. Doesn't mean I'm gonna get it. But anyway, let's dive down in to today's sermon. I recently read a book called The Shadow Work Journal. And this is all about trying to deal with your past, your inner demons, your inner problems, those sorts of things here, okay? Now, half of the book is like blank entries where you have to answer questions and write things down and da-da-da-da-da. The first half will actually tell you a little bit about like what they're trying to say here and what it is that they're trying to get you to understand. And it's like the reason we call it the shadow workbook is that we have these multiple parts of ourselves and we often don't embrace ourselves as a whole. And so the process of integrating the shadow leads to self-acceptance, forgiveness, and unconditional love. Okay, sure. Yeah. And so this is all inspired basically from the work of Carl Jung, who was a very popular psychologist. He was taught under Sigmund Freud, the godfather of modern psychology. But Jung was more spiritual. He tended to look at, he added that sort of element into his work, whereas, Freud was just like, look, we just got to deal with the facts here. We can't bring God into this. But Carl Jung even said that knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Understanding yourself, you'll understand others. So, but a lot of this has to do with, recognizing things that happened in your life, being more compassionate to yourself, doing more self-care, deep breathing exercises. They're like, you need to ground yourself first. You got to ground yourself. Now, what we're going to talk about today is there's 5 ways that you can spot your shadow self. Spotting your shadow self often begins with noticing your triggers, recognizing patterns in your behavior and life experiences, and understanding your projections, okay? Now, this will, I'm sure you've probably heard it before, where people talk about, like, well, oftentimes the faults we see in others are the faults we have in ourselves. That kind of thing. And boy, I can attest to that. I've seen that, where I've seen people, like, point out the faults in one person's marriage, but they've got the exact same problems in theirs. That kind of a thing. So I'm going to go into this. I'm going to go into these 5 things that we can do to spot our shadow self. And then I'm going to go into some of the exercises. Now, you have to understand with the exercises, man, I tend to be a little comedic. Once again, I do comedy. That's how I deal with things. It helps with awkward situations. I believe the best communication between 2 people is a good laugh. And, because we all remember why the chicken crossed the road, but we don't remember, where to put the semicolon. So what I did is I filled these out, but I do it very sort of humorously because, that's, because it's like when it asks, like, what's your greatest fear? I'm like, zombies? Like, what fear do you have with zombies? Running out of ammo? Like, it's like, but let me go into these. Let me just go into these 5 things you can do to spot your shadow self. So the first thing, like I mentioned earlier, is notice your triggers, dude, okay? Triggers produce emotional responses that are often intense and seemingly disproportionate to the situation at hand. They are indicators that a part of you, often a shadow aspect, feels threatened or hurt. When you're triggered, it can feel as if you're reacting automatically without a conscious choice. These triggers are valuable clues pointing toward your underlying unresolved issues or, quote-unquote, shadows. To spot your triggers, take a step back and objectively look at situations that cause you to react intensely. Is there a common theme or factor? It could be a word, an action, a type of person, or even a place that repeatedly causes emotional upheaval in you. So I think we've all had this, like probably a lot of us maybe grew up with a parent that like, you slammed the door too hard and they fucking screamed at you or some shit. And it had nothing to do with you and the door. It's just that they were stressed out about finances or something or some other problem or their job or some other shit. And so this is the thing we have to recognize here. Now, I know for myself, I've always had issues kind of with confrontation. because like I try to avoid it. I try to be a peaceful person, but at the same time, oh God, I want to kill some motherfuckers. like, so that's where that's a trigger there. A shadow self kind of comes out in that one. But find your triggers, dudes. Find out what it is that's setting you off and try to figure out why. And you've got to be honest, okay? You got to look deep. It's not cool. It's not fun, but you got to fucking do it, all right? We got to figure this shit out, and we're going to do it together. Now, the second thing on how to spot your shadow self is to recognize your patterns, all right? The patterns we're looking for here are repetitive behaviors that may not serve you but seem hard to break free from, you know? Like, they often manifest in your relationships, your choices, your reactions, your habits. These patterns can be a sign of a shadow self that's trying to make its presence felt. Recognizing these patterns involves self-reflection. I know, like I said, tough. Consider the common threads in your past experiences, your past relationships, and your reactions. Are you repeatedly drawn to similar types of relationships or situations only to experience the same negative outcomes? Do you often react in the same way even when you wish you didn't? These repetitive patterns might indicate areas where shadow work can be beneficial. So, you know how you got that one friend who keeps dating crazy bitches? Yeah, you know, this is kind of the thing. It's like, dude, there's a pattern here. You keep hooking up with these crazy-ass bitches, and they fuck up your life, and they fuck up everybody else's. It's like, God damn, what the hell is wrong with you? So we need to address this, okay? We need to look at your shadow self and find out why you keep wanting to just fuck crazy bitches. We got to stop this, all right? So I know I have patterns like procrastination. I know is one of my big problems. Like I said, I had that video from my set, from my comedy set. I was scared to watch it, you know? And I procrastinated when I'm like, dude, it's 5 fucking minutes. You spend more time on your phone trying to find funny shit to laugh at. Like, it's like, come on, just fucking watch it. And I got it done. But once again, that's like a fear, a shadow self that I have to conquer, is the fear of watching myself on stage. If I want to get on stage, I got to get over this fear. Okay, so next it takes us into the third way to spot your shadow self, and that is to understand projections, okay? So projections are aspects of ourselves that we unconsciously place onto others. These can be qualities that we both admire and detest. When we have a strong emotional reaction to someone else's behavior or qualities, it often signifies a disowned part of ourselves, a shadow aspect, okay? So to understand your projections, consider the characteristics in others that you find extremely irritating or conversely you overly admire. And then ask yourself if these traits could be parts of yourself that you've disowned or idealized, okay? Now, coming from myself on this, so I tend to be when you meet me, if you meet me in person, I tend to be a quiet person because I like to listen. I like to listen to people and find out things about them and understand. And once again, I'll make jokes, of course, the whole time. But the thing that I hate is people that constantly fucking talk. Like the people that, they don't shut up. Like, this person should have shut up hours ago, and they're still fucking talking. Because I have an in-law. One of my in-laws does this. My father-in-law does this. He never shuts up. He's constantly, because he didn't get attention as a kid. He was one of 10 kids. He had a single mom, poor neighborhood and everything, living in a trailer. So he didn't get a lot of attention. So now my motherfucker is always trying to do anything and everything, trying to talk to everyone about anything and everything. And most of the time it's shit you don't want to talk about. And so when I see that, I try to do my best to not be like that. And so when I talk to a person, I try to make a point to let them talk, listen to them, engage in the conversation, and not just sit there and blab a bunch of shit at somebody like my father-in-law does. We all got a family member we wish would shut the fuck up. Now, that takes us down into the fourth step, which is a pretty easy one when you're spotting your shadow self. And that is to pay attention to your dreams. Some of you might automatically balk at this, but just listen for a second, okay? Your dreams are a rich source of symbolism and unconscious vault, so to speak. So try to recall and record your dreams upon waking up, Analyze the symbols, the emotions, the themes present in your dreams. They can provide valuable insights into your shadows, your fears, your desires, and unexpressed parts of yourself. Now, I did this a long time ago when I was in college. Well, not a long time ago. I think it was about, 20 years? God, it was 20 years ago? Fuck. Anyway, I took a psychology course, and I had to record my dreams for 6 months. And so I found some interesting things, like some are kind of crazy, but you look at meanings of dreams, and you have to look at, you can't just pick one book, unfortunately. You got to pick like a dozen, you have to read a dozen books trying to find the definition of what does this dream mean? What do these things mean? Some of them are very kind of self-explanatory, like maybe you apologizing to someone you always wanted to, or them apologizing to you, that kind of a thing. So there's stuff to be found in dreams. There's symbols and things that you can look at and try to work in. But I'm also one of those people that, like, as soon as I wake up, I'm like, well, I'll have the most vivid dream, and then I'll wake up and immediately, like, it's gone. Fuck. Sorry, I got to get my kids ready to go to get ready for school and shit right now, okay? So, we got priorities. But yeah, so that's something you kind of think about, and it's something easy to do. Just buy one of them cheap little composition books and just, write your shit. It's pretty cool. And then, check it out. Cross-reference, see what you can do. Who knows what you might find? All right, so in this, the fifth step on how to spot your shadow self from the Shadow Work Journal is explore childhood and past experiences. This is going to be difficult for some of you. I know it is for me. You have to reflect on your childhood, your family dynamics, the significant life events, why you remember what you remember, and why you try to forget other things. You have to identify any unresolved issues, traumas, or unmet needs that might have contributed to the development of your shadows, okay? Exploring these experiences with compassion and curiosity can lead to profound healing and integration. Now, once again, I can speak personally on this because I grew up in a house where it's like, I was one of 6 kids, and so you kind of get lost in the shuffle. And trying to get attention or special time or anything like that from my parents, it was like impossible. And it caused a huge kind of problem to where I was constantly wanting to work jobs where I was somehow a center. I think that's one of the reasons why I got into theater was because people had to shut up and listen to me and to what I had to say because I'm on the stage in the spotlight, in the costume, reciting the lines. It was one of the only ways that it's like I could feel that I got some kind of attention. And of course, any one of my high school friends could easily spot it. It was like, yeah, you're not getting enough attention at home. You're like the only goth kid in school. Yeah, was, you're depressed and yeah, you need help. So it's one of those things that you're gonna have to look back and really look and address some stuff. It's gonna suck. I'm just gonna be perfectly honest with you. It's going to suck. But once you confront the issues and realize that, hey, my parents weren't perfect, they actually did some dumb shit, and you did some dumb shit along the way, it's okay. All right, this is how you kind of keep developing, keep moving forward. And once again, have some compassion for yourself. That's really a very big, important part. Now, as I go through this book, there's, they recommend, getting help from a professional, which everyone's going to do. And then, they talk about the, you have to do the sort of the conscious and unconscious work, right? So the unconscious is like your habits, your patterns, your emotions, your projections, your bodily functions like breathing and stuff, your belief and desires, what you blame, deny, lie about, the things you attach to. It's all happening in the unconscious. Now, your conscious is that's the logic, that's the filter, the analysis, the decision maker, the willpower, the critical thinking. So the unconscious is kind of filled with a lot of stuff, almost like a Pandora's box. And then the consciousness is basically the way to kind of help control, move, and work with that. Now, once again, like I said, I try filling in the blanks here. It's like, what scares you the most? Zombies? It's like, but I must face this fear by having lots of ammo and a few guns, right? And I'm trying to be kind to myself. I am. Like they say, okay, what makes you tense? Well, uncertainty. Not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow or what's going to go through. Like I said, my wife and I, we were married for 22 years, and cancer came along and just destroyed everything. The whole world got turned upside down. She was supposed to, they gave her about 8 months to live, but the cancer spread so fast that we only got 8 weeks. So uncertainty fills a lot of fear with me because I've dealt with uncertainty. Now, I got through it because I'm one of those folks that, like, when shit hits the fan, fucker, I turn into a soldier, and I plan and I get shit done. It's one of the things that helped when I learned in fast food was how to deal with a fast-paced environment with unexpected situations happening every fucking day, damn near every fucking hour. And so it's helped me, and it definitely helped during that time when I lost my wife. That was definitely the thing that helped get everything through. Because I turned in the gear and just got it going. And I had to kind of push my emotions and all the other stuff to the side because I have 2 kids and a house, and my late wife's parents live with me, so I had a shit ton of responsibilities and people depending on me, and so I have to kind of work through that. And of course, one of the questions in the workbook is, well, what do you do to release those anxious energies and tension? I'm like, I get high and drunk. That's what I fucking do, like everyone else. Like, I sit there, and but I don't get drunk and high and think like my life sucks. I get drunk and high to think, okay, maybe tomorrow I'll find $1 million on the ground. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe something magical, right? I'll find a magic lamp from Aladdin. But there were definitely some things like in spotting my shadows, like in my past. You know, I was silent a lot. You know, because I was always told to shut up. It's like my parents told me to shut up, my teachers told me to shut up, the preacher tells you to shut up, and then everyone wonders why you don't talk. It's the fucking stupidest, craziest shit. And so, but because of that, I became a good listener, and that's really helped me a lot in life, is listening to people, because a lot of folks don't, you know? And so, I know that there was a time in my life I didn't give a fuck. And I keep trying to put myself back in that mindset of just not giving a shit. You focus on you do what you gotta do, fuck everybody else. And so, like I said, being the only goth kid in a redneck fucking town, it was like, yeah. So I don't give a shit, and I will do what the fuck it is that I want to do. But yeah, so I kind of went through these things. I do admit that, like, I tend to seclude myself because, you know, I'm dealing with a lot of shit, and I don't want to drag anyone else down because I seclude so I can figure out what's going on, and I can find information, and I can get, you know, I can find a path on how to deal with this. Because I've never dealt with this before. You know, losing a parent or a grandparent is a little different than losing your partner. And I miss my partner. I miss my wife. I'll catch myself, like, whenever we drive together, I would always hold her hand. I would always drive, and I'd hold her hand in the passenger seat. And the other day, I don't know what it was, but I just reached over. Like, I guess, you know, auto memory kind of a thing. I reached over, and I literally thought I was going to grab her hand, and there was nothing there. And it just hit, and just like, you know, started crying, tears start rolling down, the whole fucking thing, just dealing with it. And that's what it is. It's like, that's the kind of shit you deal with here, man. Fuck, the other day, okay, so I'm cleaning out my drawer, and I came across a receipt from a restaurant. One of the last times that me, my late wife, and my daughters, we all went out as a family and went out to eat. And I saw, you know, on the receipt what everyone ordered, including my late wife, and I don't know. I just fucking tears. Niagara Falls, man. Niagara Falls fucking falling down my face from a fucking receipt. And the worst part is about grief, man, is that it never goes away. I often describe grief as like this jar full of water that you have to empty. But if you do it all at once, it makes a big mess, so you have to do a little at a time. The problem with this is the jar always fills back up. There's no way to deplete the whole thing. You get close to low. You can get it pretty low, but then one day you're going to find a receipt and it's going to fill right the fuck back up again. So these are the kind of things that we deal with. You know, these are the shadows, man. It's not fun. It's not easy, but you got to fucking deal with this. You got to confront it. You got to fight like the rest, man. Because that's the way the world is, man. It's like, to survive in this world, you need the mind and body of a warrior, the heart of a poet, and the manners of a gentleman. But that's just me. So let's take a minute to talk about, just to meditate on these 5 seconds. Take 5 minutes here for ourselves to take it easy and absorb this and think about how we can apply it in our life, okay? And we'll go ahead and we'll start that 5 minutes right now. All right, and we're back. Well, I hope that this sermon was a little informative to you, not so much about my dating life or stand-up, but about confronting your past, looking at your shadows, dealing with the patterns, dealing with the negative outcomes, dealing with the self-sabotage, man. You have to fucking conquer this shit. And you can do it. Because that's the first step, is you just got to know and believe that you can do it. And if you don't, let me say, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe you can do this. So go out there and fucking do it. But when you go out there in that crazy world, try to take it easy. Because when you take it easy, the dude abides. Thanks for listening, folks. Hope to see you next time.
From author Reverend Phillip K. comes your next must-read book, Nicholas of Myra, a novel available on Amazon. In Nicholas of Myra, a novel, immerse yourself in the life of the man we all know as Santa Claus. From the loss of his parents to being raised on a farm by his uncle, Nicholas's early life was marked by challenges. His journey led him to the Christian temple in Myra, where he became bishop in a time when Christianity was forbidden in the Roman Empire. Experience Nicholas's profound strength as he faces arrest, persecution, and the unimaginable loss of his loved ones. Despite being tortured and imprisoned, his unshakable faith and his message of love, compassion, and generosity shine as a beacon through the darkness. Nicholas of Myra, a novel, is a journey through history, revealing the roots of Christmas and its traditions. It's a story of faith that endures against all odds. Available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Nicholas of Myra, a novel from author Reverend Phillip K. Order your copy right now and discover the story of a lifetime.